Hello, my name is Lisa. I am Australian and not real. However, sound is real. Please do not be put off by my non-existence. I am better than the original author, who sometimes stutters and says so a lot. This presentation was delivered to the Learn 2017 Research Conference in Barcelona on the 4th of July 2017 by the author, Alan Weller. An accompanying paper is available from the Learn proceedings or from UEL. Higher Reality, Higher Learning. The focus of this small-scale qualitative study is to explore an alternative way of gaining knowledge about the world and the impact this had on pre-service secondary science trainee teachers in England. This study will examine the interplay between Buddhism and science with a particular emphasis on the Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma translates as higher reality or higher teaching from the Theravada tradition of Buddhism. Photo by Kuchiyup. The National Curriculum Guidance for RE states below. I will let you read this for a few seconds. Trainee science teachers are challenged in their understanding of 5 areas. 1. Working scientifically by using the card exchange and compiling evidence for the Earth being round. 2. Their fundamental understanding of reality itself. 3. The domain of science. 4. The dangers of science when it overstretches itself with its domain of understanding. 5. Going against the stream of common thought. Photo by Bill Yao. Can you cycle faster than the speed of light? This question was put to a class of 12-year-old school pupils at a special outreach project at university. Most pupils answered that you could not cycle faster than the speed of light. One pupil answered that you can. When questioned further, he explained that I would not put such an obvious question to the class. It must be a trick question. There is an assumption behind the answer, namely that the speed of light is 300 million meters per second. It is, but only in a vacuum. The speed of light can be slowed down to 17 meters per second in some substances, and you can cycle faster than that. The pupil was thinking out of the box. He went against the stream of common thought. Our great scientists of history also had to do this. Darwin and Galileo going against the ideas of the church at that time. Einstein going against the established way the nature of light with his photoelectric effect. Photo by Tau Zero. How science works. The card exchange is a typical activity for science teacher trainees to clarify their views on the nature of science. Cards are sorted in order, according to their closest match to the way science works. The above highlighted statements sit very uncomfortably in the mix. Key points. The card exchange is a good activity to help trainees clarify their views on how science works. These 2 statements sit uncomfortably in the mix. These 2 statements underpin the aim of the study. Photo by Alan Weller. Is there another way which can tell us what is really true about the world? All of the understanding we have of the world is through intellectual understanding, no matter what is science, mathematics, politics, history. But is there another way of understanding the world? And if so, how does it work? Some trainees are of the opinion that science is the only way in which the natural world can be understood. Key points. Is there another type of understanding which can understand the world? How does it work? Photo by the Bad Astronomer. Harmony or conflict? Science and Buddhism. There are 2 heavyweights at understanding the world, Buddhism and science. Is one right, the other wrong? What is the relationship between them? Can we know the relationship between them? Are there any conflicts? Is there a parallel universe? Science operates on one and Buddhism on the other? Buddhism claims to know the truth about the world, about life, but does not mention any science. No Newton's laws, no theory of evolution, no cures for disease. We would reasonably assume the common thought that it is old and has been superseded by modern developments. What do they have in common? Looking at 14 Big Ideas of Science, Harleen 2010, and 14 Big Ideas of Buddhism, 14 Big Ideas of Buddhism, 2015. They only have one big idea in common. Key points. Buddhism and science are seemingly poles apart. Are they in conflict or harmony? They have one big idea in common. Photo by a Saifantman. What do they have in common? All worldly phenomena are conditioned. However, Buddhism extends this principle also to mental phenomena such as anger, kindness, generosity, seeing and hearing, racism. Therefore, immorality is also conditioned. Perhaps science teachers may make better religious education teachers of this topic, as they are used to working with this idea. Key points. Science and Buddhism have one key idea in common. All worldly phenomena are conditioned. Science teachers may be just as comfortable teaching this subject as religious education teachers. Photobiography. The earth is round? What is the evidence? The task. This task is put to trainees to come up with the evidence for the earth being round. Conventional evidence comes in the form of ships' masts on the horizon, angle of the sun at different circumferences, pictures from space, circumnavigating the world. Note of the Greeks calculated the radius of the earth to a good approximation around 200 BC. Key points. There is a range of evidence showing that the earth is round. There is a fundamental misconception behind this evidence. Evidence is collected through the five senses of seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting. Reality lies to us. Photo by NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. Higher learning, higher pedagogy? An opposing view, a different way of looking at reality, a different lens, is put using four strategies underpinned by a single pedagogy. The background picture comes from The Matrix. The lead character Neo lived in an artificially fabricated reality. He was in fact plugged into a supercomputer which controlled all his perceptions. Analogous to this, we live now in a fabricated reality, a parallel universe. In order to get a glimpse of this, we have to recognize what is truly real and what is merely an idea of false perception. Key points. We live in a fabricated reality. We are using four strategies to recognize this fabricated reality. These four strategies are underpinned by a single pedagogy. Photo by Absolute Chaos. We use concepts in the right way to make known realities. We have already seen that both science and Buddhism have the idea that phenomena are conditioned to arise. This higher understanding of the world we are seeking is not intellectual understanding. However, it has conditions to arise which are dependent on the intellectual understanding of the difference between concept and reality. This is the mechanism by which it arises. The conceptual understanding of realities is the condition. There is no self or person who can cause this understanding to arise. Intention to have it cannot condition it to arise. Sitting cannot condition it to arise. There is an overlap in this intellectual understanding with science which can be used to progress science. Photo by Bazale_moi. What do you see? The diagnostic test. Two simple questions, two simple answers, but enough to diagnose understanding of reality? What do you see? How many objects can you touch? What is seen is not something. Only 3 objects can be touched. Key points. Science graduates are unable to accurately describe what they see or touch. Photo by Jumansanelli. Lego, the art of brick with just 3 colors. An idea of person is formed. The process is the same no matter we are seeing real people or in a film. Person is an idea, conditioned by the visible object which is seen. Picture, Brick Artist, 2015. Key points. We read a book. We do not see words but different shapes/lines on a page. These condition the thinking of words. We do not see people or things. The mind reads the shapes/lines to form the idea of person. What is seen is real. However, it is not a person or chair or thing, but can condition the idea of person or chair. The reality which is seen is unknown, it is not understood. Photo by Churo Xing. The eye is only sensitive to color. There are no rods and cones sensitive to person, chair, bus. These concepts are formed up almost instantly by thinking and memory. The description of what is seen typically computer screen, person, table. However, this does not accurately describe what is seen. There will always be an object that is missed out. Seeing sees what is visible. Immediately this is followed by thinking in concepts. person, computer, table, chairs cannot be seen, they are perceived. The reality which is seen is hidden, it is in our parallel universe. If you see something, it indicates that there is ignorance of reality. Key points. Science backs up this idea of only visible object can be seen. The rods and cones of the eye are only sensitive to color. Photo by Lab Guest. The words in capitals represent real phenomena. They arise whether we think or do not think. The lower caps words only arise with thinking. They are concepts, the object of thinking. We are using words to make known realities in capitals. There are two types of reality, physical and mental. Mental phenomena experience an object e.g. hearing. Sound is a physical phenomena which does not experience anything. What we take for the world person are mental phenomena and physical phenomena arising and falling away in a split second. I will let you consider this slide for a few seconds. Key points. There are two types of reality, the mental and the physical. These arise and fall away in a split second. Mostly we live in the world of concepts. Foot, arm, chair, table, brain are not real. They have no existence. They are just concepts, objects of thinking conditioned by reality. The right intellectual understanding of the teachings, that is the difference between realities and concepts, forms up a condition for the studying of reality with awareness. When realities are studied in this way, understanding can grow to reveal characteristics of reality as they are by direct experience. When this understanding arises, a characteristic of reality appears as it is. For example, visible object appears as visible object. This understanding gets rid of concepts. Going back to the round earth. What is seen, no matter the earth or a football, is not round. What is seen is visible object. Roundness, football are concepts, the objects of thinking conditioned by the seeing and remembrance of concepts. The earth is still round, this is conventional truth. However, what is seen is not something. This is a fundamental misconception of reality. This wrong understanding of reality should be got rid of, it will bring unhappiness. Photo by Camille Tulcan. Understanding characteristics of reality as they are leads to detachment from them. Attachment is a condition for aversion. This can be towards ideas as well as sense objects. During the session, several daily examples were put up for discussion. For example, the cat jumps in front of the television when Strictly Come Dancing, or our favorite program, is on. The Tunbridge Wells resident, Upmarket Town, is devastated when Poundland, Downmarket Shop, comes to the city centre. The wife gets agitated when coffee is poured into a tea mug. The devastated teenager whose smartphone has run out of battery. The unhappy mother who cannot cross the road with her baby due to traffic queuing for a superstar. Key points. We live in a fabricated reality which takes concepts for real. Our foot lasts for some time, but hardness which is touched only lasts for a fleeting moment. Understanding realities as they are leads to detachment from them. Attachment is a condition for aversion. An online survey was conducted after the session. The following questions were put. Attachment is a condition for aversion? 8 yes, 3 sometimes, 0 no. The session puts forward the idea that science has a concept as its object of understanding. Buddhism has a reality as its object of understanding. 4 true, 6 possibly true, 1 false. The understanding that science has of reality is 0. 4 true, 6 depends on the definition of reality, 1 false. Do you consider the session relevant to your teaching? 11 yes, 100%. Key points. After a 1.5-hour session, graduate trainee science teachers are admitting to the possibility that the understanding that science has of reality is 0. Trainees are beginning to understand that attachment is a condition for aversion. Do you consider the session to be relevant to your teaching? I will let you read for a few seconds. Conclusion. The understanding of the Abhidhamma is a serious challenge to science teacher trainees. It can not only challenge them in the nature of reality itself but also help them clarify their ideas of working scientifically. It offers them a different perspective on the nature of the world, a glimpse at another way of understanding. Abhidhamma can help move school science forwards. We live in the world of virtual reality headsets, flight simulators. Our scientists need to understand how to trick the mind into this other reality. Abhidhamma could be used in citizenship/PSHE classes by discussing the danger attachment poses to the individual and society. Photo by Awini. Final conclusion, I will let you read for a few seconds. Science is a magnificent force to understand and benefit this world. However, science has a domain in which it operates, and it is overstretching itself with the domain of this understanding. This human vessel is blocking the understanding of the world. It is not interested to develop another way of understanding. It studies only concepts about the world, but never studies reality. The background picture is of Vasa, a Swedish warship built between 1626 and 1628. It sank within 20 minutes of its maiden voyage due to a high center of gravity. Similarly, science is overstretching itself with its domain of understanding, and will sink those who sail in it as they fall in love with an underage Lily James, baby driver, as Poundland comes to their Tunbridge Wells, or as their smartphone runs out of battery. Photo, Alan Weller. However, if we recognize the domain of science, this difference between concept and reality, then we can have our magnificent warship with a rudder. We can even use Newton's third law to calculate the amount of guns we can fire safely before our ship will topple. Photographed is Casimila, a beacon shining with creation and knowledge, a great container full of content, which has a crucial role to play in the transformation of society and commitment to the people. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you search for higher reality, higher learning, you should find the original haiku presentation and the paper. My name is Lisa, and my sound is as real as the author's sound, Alan Weller. However, Alan is not real. Just like me.